Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggy, and joining me down there in Elkhart, it's Hope and Derek. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, Ricky. How are you?
Doing all right. It's been a week. Not as bad as last week, but it's been a week.
Right?
Still trying to get my van squared away and stuff like that. So, just fun stuff.
Yeah, it's always fun when you have to deal with insurance companies and
No, I know it. They try to get off as cheap as possible.
yeah.
Yeah, getting things ready for the next time I set up the KMU table, which will be November 2nd at the XWE show at Solana Field House. And let's see
Awesome.
who we got in the comments tonight
We got a
here.
lot of
Hey
people.
Rodney, hey Bianca, and there's my daughter. She's at work, so
Yeah,
she can't hang with us long. But and Bianca, Anthony, how you guys doing? Hey Esther,
that's
how you
true.
doing? Everybody holler out from where you're watching from, so we know where everybody is watching from, and be sure to share the show out everywhere so people can watch it and
Absolutely.
know we're here doing what we're doing. Oh man. As I mentioned last week, as I mentioned last week, I've been really getting into this book, which this camera in the back
Put it in
green
front of
screen
your
is really.
body.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Dead end inside the hunt for the I-70 serial killer, and I think what I'm doing for the KMU table, I've already got it put together. Is I have one binder on the table that has like other Kansas flyers that won't fit on the bulletin board, and I've been working on a second binder that damn it, I'm going to put on the table that's got all these flyers and information about the I-70 serial killer cases that I've been working on the last few days, trying to get it together, and it's coming together pretty good.
Wow, man. Do you get a pretty
Um,
good turnout when you put those booths out? Do a lot of people come up and ask you a lot of questions? Or
this last one we really did. My daughter did like most of the talking and visiting with people about the cases and stuff, and I just sit back and let her do it. And looks like she's taking off to get back to work. So have a good rest of your night, honey. She gets off work at midnight, so
oh wow,
have a good rest of your night.
what's
Hey,
up, Rodney?
Christopher. Hey, Adam. But yeah, this last one though, like I said, I think we had more activity this last time we've had in the previous one. So I think it's starting to catch on a little bit now. Finally,
That's good.
yeah.
Christopher and Esther are here.
Well, I've purchased a couple of things since the last time we seen each other.
Oh yeah.
I have a hoodie. Can you see it?
Hold it down a little bit.
Move it to your.
There we go. There we go.
There.
Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, I've seen those before. Those are cool. I like those.
Yeah.
And then I've got my shirt. On the front, it's a heart and it
They
says
matter.
almost.
Cool. Your hair's in the way on the back. I can't see all
Here,
because your hair.
yeah, there you go.
There you go.
On your
There.
darkest night, remember tomorrow needs you.
Cool. Yeah, my older daughter needs to hear that 'cause she deals with a lot of depression issues and things like that, and it's been a struggle for her.
Sure.
So she needs to hear things like that.
There it is.
This is the one.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, her mic was actually stuck on the hoodie she took off. I was wondering why we lost the audio. We have Adam Capson, first time watching from McLeod, Kansas. Nice.
Cool. I don't even know where McGrath, Kansas is.
I don't either.
Be real honest.
He said he's still trying to find Randy Leach.
Yep, good deal. Yeah, we still cover his case from time to time. I don't have it on the show for tonight, but we can definitely do that. And I know Dennis with Muddy Water Search and Recovery over there, and I think they're in Leavenworth, I believe it is. Yeah, I know they've been doing some searches for Randy and stuff, trying to get him located. And they've been doing some other searches. They've been posting their search videos on their YouTube channel. It's under Muddy Water Search and Recovery, and I've been checking those out when I can.
Yeah. A little bit of an update on the missing moms case. It looks like Cora has now basically said she's not going to have a fair and speedy trial either. And so just Norm's going to cover it Sunday. Hope and May will probably cover a little bit of it Sunday night. it just looks like, just from anybody standing on the outside, it looks like now you have Paul Grice and Cora that are probably turning state's witness of some capacity,
Wow.
or they're just foregoing the right to a fair and speedy trial. So Sunday, Hope, Norm, and May, and everybody will kind of fill you in on what we
Yeah.
learned about that.
You're right. Yeah, that is just a bizarre case. I don't get it. The grandma having that much deep-seated hate for her own daughter-in-law or whatever, and it's just crazy. I don't get it. Okay, want to start with Dietrich? Do what?
I said it's evil.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, we're going to start with Dietrich Foster tonight. He's missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12, 2020. He was 37 when he went missing. He's now 42. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12th of 2020. He was last seen around April 12th of 2020 in Independence. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, Dietrich was 37. He's now 42. 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He has a scar on his chest from heart surgery, a scar on the right side of his nose. He has the following tattoos: a cross on his right forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Dejeuner on his arm, and the word foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or KBI at 785-296-4017. There is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So, see if we can't help him get him located. And as I've said before, if you have any information, no matter if you think it's irrelevant or not, get that in there.
Yeah. He's been gone for
5
years.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty close to it.
Close to it, yeah.
About 4.5.
That's north of Lawrence, where he's watching from.
Oh, okay, cool. And Lisa from Dodge City. Hello. And Queenie Albini's here from Kansas City. Hey, Queenie. Glad you're here.
Kansas or Missouri, Queenie? Come on.
I'll tell you, I really want to do either just one solid episode on the S70 case, or I want to do a standalone. I haven't decided which I want to do yet, but there's just a lot I want to.
Well, one thing we were kind of talking about doing is like, there's a lot of connection between Alexander Perez and Michael Golub.
Yeah.
Both presumed deceased. Both have had indictments brought on people for basically murder, and then both of them are still listed as just missing people because there's no body.
Right. Yep, exactly. Yep. Alexander's missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 39. He's 5'11", 235 pounds, black hair that he shaves nearly bald, and brown eyes. Alex contacted family via the phone on December 1st and said he'd be coming over to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses. Alexander has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then, and he had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. And at the time of his disappearance, again, he was 35. He's now 39, 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald, and brown eyes. Has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get Alexander located and back to where he needs to be. And as we've kind of touched on the last couple shows, the gentleman that was initially being charged in his case, they decided not to because of nobody, as Derek mentioned. So, if anybody's got any information, please get that in there so we can get Alex found and maybe somebody held accountable for it.
Absolutely.
And Queenie lived here in Salina from 84 to 2020. Consider it home, she says. I still live in Salina. I've lived here 57 years, so it's home. Definitely home.
I lived there for 2.5, so
I spent one night there, and it was really weird. Had nothing to do with Salina. It was just that's
Yeah.
some weird folk.
Well, I tell you, I keep bringing up the I-70 case, and it's just because it's been on my mind a lot. I've been reading about it and watching videos about it. I've got that book I'm trying to get finished about it and stuff. And, we've covered Catherine Adams' case a time or two, actually several times. And not long after she had gone missing, they started circulating, and I have it here in my binder here. They started circulating the composite sketch of the suspect, that composite right there. And that's actually from 1993. I've had that since 1993. But they started circulating not long after she went missing. And I can't remember how much time it went by after we posted it, because they asked us to post. The detectives brought it out, said, "Post it. Anybody sees anything or hears anything, call us." We're like, okay. So we posted it. And not long after we posted it, these two guys come in. One was kind of nicely dressed, the other jeans and t-shirt, and started talking to him a little bit at the fuel desk there where I was working. Come to find out that one guy was the director of the gospel mission at that time, and he had brought a guy out to pick up a money wire that was being sent to him. And he saw the composite, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he said, "that guy stayed here at the mission." And I'm like, "What?" Because at the time the mission was on 13th and Bishop on the north part of town, and my sister, brother-in-law, and niece at that time lived at 13 in West Dash, was like 4 blocks straight south of that. And so I was like, "Excuse me," and he's like, "Yeah." He said the guy carried a paper bag around with him all the time, didn't let it out of his sight, and said he even slept with the darn thing. And they said they called the police. By the time the police got there, he was long gone. I'm like, really? That's interesting.
Ricky, have you seen the AI composite sketch from 92 and what they think he would look like now based on the AI sketch?
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen where somebody actually took that AI shot there, and they actually took it to that, I don't know if it's an app or a website or whatever, and they animated it. So where he's kind of looking back and forth and kind of smiling a little and stuff. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
I saw that on an I-70 video, video about the I-70 killer, and I was like, "Whoa, that's creepy." But yeah, I've
me
seen
and Norm
this.
covered it like 2 weeks ago, but it's in the UK. They have an AI, it's like a detective AI tool, and they're claiming that it can do like 87 years of detective work in 3 days. Just
Oh my goodness.
dumping all of the information from the case. Like basically, it takes 3 days to dump all the information into the program that we have as humans on the case, and it'll basically do the equivalence of like 87 years of one detective working around the clock in 3 days, basically.
oh
Wow.
And it's in its trial period, obviously, because it's new. But with the use of AI and everything, like this composite sketch on the left, if you could have had something this clear in 92, that
Oh
would have been a
man.
lot better than the chicken screen. And then nothing against the police sketch artist, but I mean, there's a world of difference between the picture you're seeing on the left there and then a sketch artist,
Right.
drawing a perp and everything. So I don't know. I think with I-70 though, like that was 1994. I think there's a really good chance that guy
Right.
is incarcerated or even dead.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Or
really going to open up the
or
everything.
in the case of BTK and Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, they could still be out there living their life. You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be any scenario, really. Like you said, it could be dead, it could be incarcerated on something completely unrelated. I mean, it's hard to know. Really is. I mean, it was the weird thing about it was the original I-70 killings, the 6 that they linked to the killer through ballistics, were all in 1992. Catherine Adam went missing in 1993, and then like I said, detectives circulated that composite in 1993, a year later. And it's just weird. I don't know if they were thinking he might have been involved in it or what. I don't know. It's just really weird.
yeah.
Kenny, our buddy Kenny. My brother dug up some interesting newspaper articles about Kenny from 1987 that he sent me the other night. And I was going through interesting stuff. I'll kind of touch on a little bit here after we cover the flyer here. It's Kenny Rychek, missing from Salina, Kansas since November 4th, 2019. He was 69 when he went missing. He's now 74. His 5'9", 175 pounds, gray hair and blue eyes. He does sometimes use the last name Brown. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities, and he is on disability. He has not tried to access any of his money since he was last seen. He may have family in Northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He left there and hasn't been seen or heard from since then. He does not have a phone, a vehicle, or any identification. In the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He's now 74. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA TIPS to crimes, which is 274637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip, or call KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Kenny located and back to where he needs to be. And as I was mentioning, my brother dug up some news articles regarding Kenny from 1987, and it seems that back in 1987, apparently there was a girl playing basketball in the driveway of her house, I guess, and he approached her and pushed her into the garage and was touching her chest, and he was arrested and charged for that. And I can't remember what the charges were now. I have to dig up the articles. I have them in my email, but he was charged for that. He spent 5 years in prison for it. At the trial, initially, they were trying to say with his diminished mental health capabilities, his defense lawyer was that he wasn't fit to stand trial. Initially, they deemed him unfit, but then they had him sent to Larned and tested in Larned, which they deemed him fit. So he did stand trial and, like I said, served 5 years for it. I didn't even know that until my brother sent that to me. I was floored. I was like, really? So,
Yeah.
Wow.
like I said, that was 1987, and he did his time. And, from then on, I mean, Kenny I knew wasn't like that. But, of course, I never was around him on a daily basis. I only ran into him at gas station, when he was playing pinball or video games, whatever, So,
Yeah. But I mean, if you have diminished, I don't know. Again, I love law enforcement, but I think that whenever they make that call, is this person firing on all cylinders? I think it really depends on who you're asking and how
yeah,
much they care to look into it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I think
right,
they're just like, sure, like, I don't know. I've seen people that I know very well that I would say behave very quote unquote normal, and I've seen them on a day where they weren't normal, and
right,
not anything on on a level like what they're saying Kenny did, but just behavior. They're just like, whoa, what's up with my friend? Like, what's going on here?
right,
So yeah, I didn't know that, but like you said, 1980 something, he did 5 years. I still want to know where he is.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to go a different direction here a little bit. We were talking about how they found the remains in the western part of town. What year was it? Goodness gracious, been a few years ago. And they initially reported that they had found part of a skull. And then they went on to, when they released this article about the sheriff's department trying to raise money to get these remains identified in a better lab than what they used originally, that could do more things with the DNA than what apparently the lab that they had used, because they said they were trying to raise a goal of $7,500. They've put in as much money as I guess that they could afford to, trying to raise the rest. And right now they're sitting at 3977 and 81 of the 7,500. But those remains were, like I said, found over off West Magnolia in a creek bed. And they said initially, like I said, they found a partial skull. And then when that article came out about raising money, they said they found additional remains in a dilapidated tent back in that creek bed also. So they're trying to get them identified. And they were saying that they were male remains, and they feel like the time had elapsed between when the man died and the remains were found was about a year. So I dug into the KBI missing persons website and looked at all the Saline County cases. And the one that the only one in the whole thing that stuck out that was even close to their guesstimate was Kenny's case. So, don't know if it is or not. I have to wait until they so then get the rest of that 7,500 raised. Like I said, they're at 37.99.81 right now of that 75. And if I was smart, I would have grabbed that link while I was there. But yeah, I want to try to make sure that they get that identified so we can see who it is, so somebody's family can have closure of some kind.
Right.
I mean, it might be Kenny, it might not be. It could be somebody that was never reported missing. Homeless people and transients, they don't often get reported missing because they are constantly on the move and stuff. And so slim chance it could be somebody that wasn't reported missing. I don't know. It's hard to say. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. And I'm posting the link in the comments for that website if you want to go donate to that to help raise money to get those remains identified. That's the link to go contribute to. 2021 is when they found them. Okay, thank you. But so hopefully they can get them identified and we can find out who it is, because like I said, somebody's family will get some closure out of it when they find out who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was just crazy. I remember I was at work at Menards that day when they were down there searching, and I was just like, really? They found a partial closed just down the road from work? That's kind of wild.
Right.
Not gonna lie, I wish I would have been off work around that time so I could have gone down there and just kind of checked things out. But I had to work, and by the time I got off work and got down there, everybody was gone. So, but anyway, okay. Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond, missing from Oscar, Colorado since August 15th, 2019. She was 30 when she went missing. She's now 35. She's 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from her Oscar, Colorado home. She left all of her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, her car, computer, tools, and pet dog. Rochelle had only been living in the area for about 3 years prior to her disappearance. She had lived previously in the Columbus, Ohio area. She may be homeless. Although police can find little evidence in her disappearance, her mother believes she did not leave of her own accord and may have been a human trafficking victim. Rochelle suffers from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which she also left behind. Rochelle's nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "live like a lion" on her upper chest, a star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, a cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos. And you can see the photos of some of them down there at the bottom. She's last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and a silver circular barbell in her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608 and see if we can help get Rochelle located and back to her family, because I know that her mom's been really wanting to get her found and back home, and I'm sure not a day goes by that she's not worried sick about Rochelle. So let's see if we can help get her located and back home. Whoops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've done some digging about that area around there,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that come up missing and they don't know why.
You're talking to Kristen?
No. I mean, she's helped, but she
lives in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember that I had brought up that there is like quite. And the thing is like, Ricky, you probably don't have a ton of Colorado flyers, right? They kind of just come to you like through the grapevine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Like I was asked to make one for Rochelle, and that's how Rochelle's came about. Was I was asked to do hers.
Yeah.
So.
But it's just weird, and it's basically surrounded by sand dunes, big sand dunes. I mean, there's like mountains of nothing but sand.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's interesting for Colorado. That's interesting for Colorado. You'd think sand dunes, automatically you think desert hotspot.
Right.
You wouldn't think mountains.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how far up the mountain Mosca is, but
I don't even really know where it's at, but
I'll get it
Yeah.
right here. How do you spell it?
Honestly, I've only been to
MOS?
Colorado once in my life, and that was when I was 16 years old. We went up to Boulder. Saw the house that you always saw that they showed the front of in Work and Mindy.
Yeah. And I know in that
Showing my age
area,
again.
there's a place, it's a tourist place, but it's all UFOs and
Right.
all that stuff. I mean,
No,
Megan has actually
she's not.
been there, but
She's not lying here. I got this. So I just typed in the name of the town,
Mhm.
and this is the second picture. There's tons of pictures. Oh, it's not going to do it. Hold on. I'll just share my screen over here.
You have to remove your sales flyer before you pop it up.
I'll check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll remove her flyer real quick.
Yeah, okay.
So you just type in that town's name.
Hmm.
Yeah, sand dunes everywhere.
My
And it's
goodness.
actually, let me see what it is. Travel guide for Moscow. I just saw it a second ago. Basically,
Wow.
there's actually a national park there based on sand dunes. I'll find it here in a second, but yeah,
Yeah, that'd be cool. Chris Ray says he wants to go see the hotel in Colorado that The Shining was filmed in. That'd be cool.
I don't think I'd want to.
so they're called the Great Sand Dunes, and they're the tallest sand dunes in North America. And so, yeah,
That's
that's
wild.
terrifying to me. Just
It's wild that it's in Colorado.
yeah.
And Margaret the Younger says it looks beautiful. It does look pretty. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, so whenever I said it was creepy to me, when I was a kid, I don't know if it's the same place, but I'm from, Elkhart, Kansas. We had a family friend that had went and visited some kind of sand dune national park, and it was like it was like like 3 or 4 girls. This is it right here. It was like 3 or 4 girls, and they were just out walking around these sand dunes, and they ended up getting chased by people. Um,
Dang.
it was like a very scary event. They didn't get injured, but they were chased for like it's vast, so they were chased for a while. They had to like strategically get away from some guy that was chasing them. So
That's
as soon as
called.
she said sand dunes, it freaked me out.
So that's the Moscow, Colorado. That's that picture from there. Oh
This is
wow.
right where this is the same town that's on the flyer.
Wow. Margaret says I'll wait outside with hope.
Yeah.
Right.
Bianca says she's gonna roll. It looks beautiful, but yeah, like that's my whole story is that when I was a kid, I had heard somebody that my parents knew got chased in one. Scary landscape to be running from somebody, I guess, is what
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Haley Davis still missing.
Yeah, another Solana case. Another one that's very troubling. Missing from here in Solana, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. 19 weeks went missing. She's now 20. She's 5'6" to 5'7", 190 to 200 pounds. Hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She did leave Salina, Kansas with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st of 2023. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 19. She's now 20. She's 5'6" to 5'7" and weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip, or you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4407 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. No shortage of numbers to call. I did add the Wichita Police Department at numbers because I was told they're also involved in the investigation on the Wichita end of it. So if you have any information, whether you're on the Salina end of it or the Wichita end of it, get that information in and see if we can't get Haley found and back home.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to run away in sand and horrifying of being chased by someone evil with evil intent. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Like the whole,
Yeah.
like, you could just be walking from your car door to your front door, something you do 4 times a day your whole life, and you just add somebody chasing you and see how long it takes you to find that right key.
Right.
You know, something you do every day, just whatever. But it's just like you're right. It's like being in like a very high stakes game or something. You're just like, holy crap.
Right. And real quick with Haley Davis's case, I have spoke with her brother. I've spoke with her aunt, and speaking to them, they do fear something bad has happened to Haley. Let's hope not. Let's pray not. But let's get her found and back home.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. And this is Dana Jane Bruce, another one we cover quite a bit. And she's missing from Sedalia, Missouri, since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She's now 39. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30. Police have identified the man Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have credit cards, debit cards, a checking account, a cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 39. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends with red highlights, and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823. or 660-826-8100, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or they're 866-362-6422, or you can call Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070, and see if we can help get Dana located and back to her family. I know they're searching hot and heavy trying to find her, and let's see if we can help get her found and brought home. It's been way too long.
Yeah.
It looks like there's 4 bodies of water within an hour of Sedalia. Truman Lake, Lake of the Ozarks, Clear Fork Reservoir, and Lamine River.
Oh,
Truman's 40 miles away.
Right.
Lake of Ozark is 60. That Clear Fork Reservoir is just a few miles outside of Sedalia, and it's like for fishing and outdoor activities. And that Lamine, the only one that I would think would make sense for this amount of time is that Lamine River. I wonder like how far that Lamine River flows. Like if it flows for a long time, then who knows? You throw something in there, who knows how far it would go, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know what Dennis has got in mind. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's planning on doing any searches in her case or not. I haven't talked to him about it. I'll have to ask him and see. But I know he's been doing a lot of sonar scans and bodies of water, like with Randy Leach's case and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shoot my phone.
Be interesting to know.
And this one is Jamie Jasmine Zubia Hernandez. And like I said, this is the case that gets me going. And you'll find out why as we go along here. Jamie Jasmine Zubia Hernandez, May 13th, 2015, Kansas City, Kansas. 13-year-old Jamie Hernandez ran away from her foster home in Athena, Kansas on June 9th, 2012. Prior to her disappearance, Jamie had recently been prosecuted in a juvenile court for drug possession. She was due in court for her sentencing shortly after her disappearance. Jamie never showed up and was never seen again by her foster family. There was unfortunately very little media coverage on Jamie's disappearance, likely due to her runaway status. 3 years later, during the early morning hours of May 30th, 2015, a Kansas City resident called the police to report a shootout in the 2500 block of Ridge Avenue. According to witnesses, 2 vehicles fired shots at each other and a female passenger, and one of the vehicles was killed as a result. The female passenger's body was dumped on the side of the road, and the vehicles drove off before police arrived. 2 days later, on June 1st, 2015, authorities announced that the slain female was identified as Jamie. The identity of Jamie's killer remains unknown, as does the identity of the driver of the car Jamie was riding in and when she was shot. Additionally, Jamie's whereabouts from June 2012 to May 2015 still remain a mystery. Although she was ultimately found in Kansas City, it's unknown where she stayed or how she survived during those 3 years. Investigators said they received a tip that Jamie was in Kansas City back in 2013, but when they followed said lead, they were unable to find her. At that time, police were searching for a late 1990s or early 2000s white Ford F-150 with flare sides, tinted windows, 20-inch chrome rims, and a touchscreen device in the cab. The truck was located June 2nd, 2015, unoccupied, and was taken and processed for evidence. I was also told that they did track down the owner of the truck, and he claimed not to know who was driving the truck. He said let somebody borrow it, but he didn't know the identity of the person, which makes no sense. But if you have any information regarding Jamie's murder, please call the Wathena, Kansas Police Department at 785-989-4521 or the TIPS hotline anonymously at 816-474-8477 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. Or you can scan that Say It Here QR code on the flyer and you can submit a tip that way as well and see if we can't get some justice for Jamie and her family. Sounds like she's had quite a tough life at 13, but didn't deserve to be found dead on the side of the road after being dumped out of a car. I mean, that's just crazy.
And unfortunately, that's a reality for a lot of kids, and
and this is why
people that choose to be out on the streets and ones that don't. I mean, it's sad.
And this is why I want to see more attention brought on these juveniles, even if they are thought to just be a runaway, to help try to prevent things like this from happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they said
on the 1-800 runaway number, and you can actually call or text that number and talk to, their volunteers or their staff. They offer free bus tickets for runaways and homeless youth.
Right.
They do a message relay where they, the youth can send a message to their parents, guardians to reconnect. And they also do like 3-way conference calls with youth, their parents or guardian or social services.
Oh, wow. So they do a lot.
Yeah, and they have resources, like local resources and referrals. They've got crisis intervention. Their staff and volunteers are trained for that.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was just a tragic case, though. I mean, said on the flyer that she had been prosecuted for drug possession. She didn't show up for sentencing, disappeared for 3 years. Kansas City police said they did get a tip in 2013 that she was in Kansas City, but they couldn't find her. And then, 2 years later, she was found shot dead in the middle of the street or on the curb of the street. I mean, it's just a tragic thing. I mean, that's why I want to see more emphasis put on these juveniles, even if they are a runaway, because they deserve to be found. They deserve to be treated more importantly than that. And
exactly.
That's a lot of the reason why when I do flyers, and if it's the same kid and I do the same kid over and over and over and over, I'm going to keep doing it because these kids still need found, whether they just keep running or not.
And they need to realize that 1-800 runaway thing too. Like a bus, calling a stranger and getting a bus ticket home is better than being found in a ditch somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely. My heart goes out to her family big time because, to lose your 13-year-old daughter in that manner, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely crazy. And anyway, this one here, Cynthia Gonzalez, we've covered her quite a few times too. This was September 21st, 1991, Arlington, Texas. On September 17th, 1991, Cynthia Renee Gonzalez was reported missing to the Arlington, Texas Police Department. On September 22nd, 1991, Cynthia's body was discovered in a creek bed off County Road 313 in Johnson County, Texas. It was later determined that Cynthia died from multiple gunshot wounds. Cynthia was reportedly at her apartment with her boyfriend when her husband stopped by to deliver their daughter for a weekend visit. Sometime later, Cynthia left for an appointment without her customary bodyguard, and she was never seen again. Serial killer Kenneth Allen McDuff was looked at in connection with Cynthia's death. Jim Ford, longtime Arlington police officer and renowned homicide investigator, had looked at McDuff in connection with Cynthia's case for going on 18 years. He was never able to make a match or a mismatch. McDuff was believed to have abducted a victim from a car wash in Austin, Texas. Cynthia's car, a two-seat Pontiac Fiero, was seen parked at a car wash in Arlington the day she disappeared. There were similarities in the Austin case and Cynthia's case. He kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed his victim at a car wash in Austin. He dumped the bodies of several of his victims in rural areas. He killed several victims by shooting them. Investigators could not place McDuff in the Arlington area and could not determine whether he was out on the streets at that time. They could not find him as being incarcerated at that time either. Reason being was during that time, Texas was experiencing overcrowding in prisons, so somebody came up with a good idea to try to thin down the crowd by releasing a bunch, and somehow Kenneth managed to get himself released and resumed his killing spree until he was arrested again. Other persons of interest have come up and have been cleared as well. McDuff has since been ruled out by DNA testing. If you have any information regarding Cynthia's death, please contact 817-459-5772. I've got to change that name. If you wish to remain anonymous and possibly receive a reward of up to $1,250, please call the Toronto County, Texas Crime Stoppers at 817-469-8477 and see if we can't get some justice for Cynthia and her family. Yeah, and Margaret kind of echoed my sentiment exactly there. Somebody's baby, definitely. I see they're talking about the Amityville horror over here, the old DeFeo house in Amityville, Long Island, where Ronald DeFeo murdered his parents and all of his siblings, and they were all found shot to death in their beds, and none of them apparently woke up to the sound of the rifle being shot because they were all found face down in their bed sleeping. It was very weird.
On that one too.
That house, I think, has since been torn down, I believe.
What if they drugged him? He drugged him because, like, to get them all just to lay still, you know?
They've tossed that theory around that maybe at dinner that night he might have put something in their drink or whatever. I've heard that theory tossed around before. But yeah,
it's like a shotgun would wake some people up.
Yeah. This is Jonathan Jensen, missing from Kerwin, Kansas since June 14th, 2023. He was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He left without his vehicle, his cell phone, or his wallet. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 52. He's now 54. He's 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, has brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Office, 785-543-6885, or KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get Jonathan located and back to where he needs to be. I know his daughter's been watching for the last couple of weeks, but I didn't see her last show. I don't think I've seen her so far this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see a comment that Margaret made earlier about, she says, I hate all these cases before CCTV in every business and outside private homes. Yeah, a lot of these cases are older cases, and security cameras weren't used very widely back then, just very rarely, and especially not in homes. Mostly it was businesses. Homes came very last, and I know working at Menards, we sell home security systems, and we do sell quite a few. So I think every day that I work, I have at least one person ask me where they're at, and I take them over and show them where they're at. Yeah, this is Ava Spacek. Been missing from Wichita since May 21st, 2024. She was 15 when she went missing. She's now 16. She's 5'2", 140 pounds. Brown hair that had red highlights and brown eyes. She does wear lots of black clothing. We don't have an exact clothing description, but I was told by her family that she does tend to wear a lot of black. If you have any information regarding Ava's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9452 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Ava located and back home where she needs to be. And this is a recent one here. This one's out of Garden City.
I've been seeing a lot of activity of this one all over.
Yeah, Conley Anson, missing since October 11th, 2024. She's 12. She's 5 foot tall, 116 pounds, brown hair that's red dyed and brown eyes. She reportedly left her residence at 219 Wesley Street in an unknown direction of travel. Again, she's 12. She's 5 foot tall, 116 pounds, brown hair that was last known to be dyed red and brown eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt, blue pajama pants, and white shoes. If you have any information regarding Conley's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department at 620-276-1300 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get her located and back home to where she needs to be.
Yikes.
That is so scary.
I've been seeing that for all day, and I've been really busy at work, and I've been meaning to message the group asking if I figured you had a flyer, but I've been seeing, I've probably seen 30 people share this, not your flyer. It's like news stories.
Yeah. It took me a couple days to get it out. Yeah, it took me a couple days to actually get it done because I had to get, the information that I needed. And then I did one flyer, and then Garden City Police finally come out with a formal post, and that's where I got the residence information and the clothing description because I didn't have that. So I was able to add that. And then that other picture, originally the only picture I had was the one on the right. Yeah, with the heavy makeup and the glasses.
That's the only one I had seen before tonight. Was the one on the right.
Yeah, and the other one initially, Net Lawless, I saw had it, and Garden City Police Department had it on their Facebook as well. So
Missing in Kansas is where I first saw it, and that's old. Is that her still, or they took that from her basically?
I'm not sure if it's a more recent one or not. It might be. I like it though because there's less makeup involved, but some of the information I saw that family posted is I think she might be wearing long eyelashes. It might be a possibility as well. So
she definitely doesn't look 12
on the right hand side. Yeah. Right. I thought she looked more like maybe 15, 16.
Yeah.
But 12 years old.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very scary.
And this young lady's been missing for quite some time now. Isabel McDowell missing from Spring Hill, Kansas since August 2nd of last year. So 2023. She was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She's 4'8" to 5'3", weighs between 100 and 112 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. It's believed that she may no longer be in Kansas. So I didn't get any kind of information as to where they think she might be, but just may not be in Kansas. Again, she was 16 when she went missing. She's now 17, 4'8" to 5'3", weighs between 100 and 112 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Isabel's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Spring Hill, Kansas Police Department at 913-782-0720 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Isabel located and back to where she needs to be. I'm not a real big fan of the photo on the far right because of the Facebook. I don't know if it's Facebook or Instagram effects or what it is, but I'm not a real big fan of that. But got to use what you got. You got to use what you get sent. But and Margaret says that she is calling an early night. Good night, Margaret. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we're about done here. We only got like 5 more flyers probably. So
yeah.
We appreciate you hanging out, though. A lot of cases for sure.
This young lady I have been seeing on KBI for some time, but I could never get a photo of her, and I finally ran across one on National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website, so I kind of borrowed it. I do that sometimes. This is Hannah House, missing from here in Salina since March 5th of this year. She's 17. She's 5'3", 110 pounds, blonde hair and blue eyes. She may still be here in Salina, or she may be in the Clay Center, Kansas area. Again, she's 17. She's 5'3", 110 pounds, blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Hannah's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. Or you can call your local law enforcement agency and let them know you have information regarding Hannah and see if we can't help get her found and back to where she needs to be. She looks kind of mad in that picture.
A little bit.
Yeah. But at least they finally got one. I've been seeing, like I said, she's been on since March of last year, or March of this year, excuse me. So since earlier this year, and I've been trying to find a photo, and I finally stumbled onto one purely by accident.
Wow.
So I was able to finally make the flyer. Yeah. Yeah, this is Aubrey Lee Dibburn. I guess it's Dibburn. Missing from here in town, from Salina, Kansas, since July 1st of this year. She's 49, 5'2", 131 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Aubrey's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can get Aubrey located and back to where she needs to be. That was a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
And this one's another one that concerns me too. I've seen her name before. I've never done a flyer for her before, but I have seen her name before. And I had to make some corrections to her original flyer because I finally was able to make contact with her family. This is Kinga Glover, missing from Wichita, Kansas since March 17th of 2023. She was 17 when she was missing. She's now 18. She's 5'5", 180 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She does have a tattoo above her right eye that says Troubles. From what her family tells me, she does periodically reach out to her sister, but she won't say where she's at. So she does at least do that so they know she's alive anyway. But if you have any information regarding Kinga's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9452 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Kinga located and back to where she needs to be.
How old do you have to be to age out of foster?
I have been told that if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing and following the plans that that they put forward for you to make, that they can hold you till you're 21. You know.
Yep.
So. And this is another one here. This is another one from Wichita. Let's see, Crystal Nichols, missing since August of 2024. They weren't able to nail down an exact date. She's 35 years old, 4'11", 105 pounds, blonde hair, green eyes. She does live homeless. If you have any information regarding Crystal's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Crystal located and back to where she needs to be. I know her family has been really worried about her.
That's crazy.
You know, it's nice when I can be able to, have contact with a family member to get information that I don't normally always get from like KBI, because KBI is just the basics. The name, missing from, missing since, height, weight, hair, and eye color. That's it. And the law enforcement agency. But that's it. There's no circumstances or anything like that behind it. So it's nice when I can get a little bit more from family.
Right.
It's very short, very small.
Yeah, 4'11", very tiny lady. Actually, she's the same height as my mom, 4'11".
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's tiny. Yeah, okay, this is Brooke Nickmeyer, missing from Hannibal, Missouri since May 12th of 2024. She's 15. She's 5'6", 180 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Don't have much more than that. If you have any information regarding Brooke's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Hannibal, Missouri Police Department at 573-221-0987 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422. And see if we can't get Brooke located and back home where she needs to be.
These kids try to be so grown up these days.
Yeah, they do. They really do. They really do. And kids take it from somebody that's an adult, I was in your shoes. I wanted to be an adult when I was a teenager. I couldn't wait to be an adult, thinking, once I'm an adult, nobody can tell me what to do. I'm not going to have any rules, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? You still have rules. They're called laws.
Yeah.
Still have to follow them. Still got to abide by them. You start working full time. You got a boss telling you what to do. So, yeah, I mean, being an adult, yeah, you have more freedom, but at the same time, you still have a lot more responsibility. Being a teenager is a lot easier.
I would rather go back to when I was a teenager.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, being an adult has its advantages and rewards, but, enjoy your youth while you can. Don't rush it. You'll get there soon enough. And like I said, it's more responsibility because that's when you have to either decide on college or working full time and, paying your own bills and stuff like that. So, I mean, enjoy your youth while you can. You only have it once. Enjoy it.
Yep.
Man, we've done flyer for him before. If you remember, it was the flyer where he was wearing the hoodie. It was all cinched down real tight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is a new one. I just got asked to do it today, I believe it was. Jaden Stewart missing. This time he's missing from Grandview Plaza, Kansas, which is over in Riley County by Junction City over there. Since October 9th of this year, he's 17, 5'6" to 5'11", 120 to 180 pounds. Has blonde or light brown hair that was last known to be dyed dark, as you can see in the picture, because that picture was just taken a few days ago. And blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a light gray sweatshirt, brown sweatpants, black socks, and black slides. If you have any information regarding Jaden's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please do not attempt to make contact. Instead, please call the Grandview Plaza, Kansas Police Department at 785-762-4271 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or your local law enforcement agency. Now, I've seen comments on his prior flyers where apparently he's facing some pretty serious charges. So I guess that's why because a lot of this information that I put on here came from a post from the Grandview Plaza Police Department, and they're the ones that says, please do not make an attempt to contact, instead call the police department or your local authorities. So apparently, I'm not sure what these serious charges consist of. Some people are saying they're sex related, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen details on it, but let's help get him found and, back to where he needs to be so he can get everything straightened out and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. It is. Very crazy stuff. Was that the last one for tonight?
Yeah, that's it, man. I got
wow, cool. Oh, come on, you're younger than me. Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching the show tonight. And, I'll go ahead and wrap her up like we usually do. Say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight to go over these cases and, get them out there so people know that they're still active and either still being looked for or unsolved homicides that need to be solved. And just pray that people that have information will call that information in to make some of that happen. Until everybody, everybody stay safe. God bless. Take care and amen. And Hope and Derek, thank you for being with me again this week. I always appreciate it. You guys do great.
Thank you for what you do, Ricky.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm trying to remember what week it is. I'm supposed to have one of them darn department meetings again this month. I want to say it was supposed to be tonight, but it wasn't scheduled. It might be next week. I'm going to have to look at the thing at work tomorrow and
Just
see.
let us know. We can force May to put a mic on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We may not have one though because my assistant department manager is on a 2-week vacation. So maybe we may not have one. So
all right.
I'll have to check.
Just let us know. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
You.
Norm will be live Sunday at 5. Hope and May will be live Sunday at 9. And then Ricky will be back hopefully Wednesday. If not, we'll have maybe Stephanie and Hope here to do a show, but we will do a show Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And just thanks everybody for everything.
Yep. You guys have a good night and we'll see you next week.
Bye.